What is going on YouTube? Welcome back to your clothing guide, the Hoxton Trend. Guys, I hope you're all well and safe. I hope everyone is good, chilling out, trying to do the best they can do in this lockdown period. As promised, I'm continuing to do a mad amount of videos, and I think this video is going to be a real special one, okay? In this video, what I'm going to do is give you my top alternatives to Stone Island. A lot of people always ask me this question. They always say, what other types of brands are available? What else can I try? Whether they're getting bored of Stone Island or they've got so much Stone Island coming out of their ears, just want to try and see what other different brands which are similar are out there. Now, the way I've gone ahead and made my selection is Stone Island is quite an iconic brand, but I think the fact that Stone Island has a patch on the arm just gives it that kind of identification that people can just notice this brand when you're walking around or when you're wearing that product. I've looked for brands that will have something on that brand that can just make it stand out. Stone Island being only doing menswear and not women's wear, it's very kind of tailored towards men. So it's all about the garment, it's all about materials, dyeing process, research. It's all kind of very manly stuff, isn't it? I've also tried to opt for brands that are just a little bit more, how can I say, masculine. A lot of the reasons why maybe a lot of women might not look to garments for those same reasons. I think guys kind of look to these brands like Stone Island. They're looking for that kind of manliness, you know, that kind of grrr. In this video, I'm going to be covering the cheaper alternatives to Stone Island. Guys, don't forget to drop a like on this video, to subscribe. Don't forget to leave some comments on the comments box below. It's all going to help to push this video to get us to 100k. And also don't forget to watch the video for as long as you can, because YouTube is all about watch time. That basically means it's going to help our videos spread for lots of people to see it, okay? So listen, without further ado, let's get straight onto this video. 2 seconds. Right, so the first brand that I actually want to go through is called Martial Artist. So let me just try and put this on real quick. Right, so this is it. This is the Martial Artist jacket. Now, funny enough, the owner of Martial Artist actually got in touch with me, and we were having lots of back and forth conversations on Instagram. And he said, look, I just want to send you out a jacket just to try out. You don't have to review it. You don't have to do anything. Just choose a jacket from our website and let me know, and I'll get that sent out to you. I literally went ahead, jumped onto the website, sent him the details. He said, no worries. And they sent me the stuff out like within the next week. This was about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, something like that. And this is the jacket that they sent me, and I absolutely love it. It's got like a kind of opaque material to the front, so it's a little bit see-through, and obviously you can just about see the Martial Artist badge on the back. And for the price point, I thought it was super reasonable. So Martial Artist was actually founded back in 2001 in London. Martial Artist has made inroads and in recent times represents one of the UK's most interesting brands to watch. Its distinct modern British tailoring has clothed the likes of Jude Law, the Gallagher brothers, and David Beckham as well, and most recently Manchester's very own Ajax. Now, Ajax has launched an exclusive brand ambassadorship with the leading street casual label. Included in the partnership will be the launch of a limited edition Ajax X Martial Artist collection, and that went live in September 2019. Co-owner, creative director and brand partner Neil Maloney in a recent interview stated that Martial Artist was born in East London in 2001 by his business partner Paul. Now, Paul is the guy I believe who I was speaking to over Instagram and reached out to me and sent me the jacket. Paul at the time worked for Hardy Bletchman's Maharishi label. Paul now owns the manufacturing facility in Vietnam that developed most of the MA collections. Neil Maloney was appointed many years after the brand was founded to breathe fresh life into the brand. Prior to Martial Artist, Neil worked 10 years as art director and fashion designer in London and Sydney with clients including Levi's, Nike, Adidas, Sony, MTV, Harrods and Ralph Lauren. Neil stated that since his appointment, the collections have become more UK centric and less streetwear inspired. Fabric technology and classic styling are at the core of the brand's thinking. Now, I remember Martial Artist from the mid-2000s when I used to work at Selfridges, and from what I can remember of Martial Artist, it was still quite an up-and-coming brand then. Somewhere in my collection, I've got some Martial Artist pieces, and the pieces back then were not technical at all. They were very streetwear inspired. As Neil said, the creative director, it's only since he was appointed that the brand became a little bit more technical and a little bit more casually inspired. Martial Artist, as a beginner just getting their collection, or even as an older person that doesn't want to spend silly money on clothing, I personally think Martial Artist is a very good look. Right, let's move on to our next brand, which is STRUM. Right, so this is it. This is the STRUM sweatshirt. Now STRUM are very well known for their outerwear stuff, sweats, knits, hoodies, all that type of stuff, and they're very, very similar to Stone Island. Even like the quality of this hoodie, to be honest with you, it's more or less very similar to Stone Island, just a lot cheaper. It also comes with the little kind of noticeable identifiable badge, which is the STRUM kind of emblem. So yeah, on STRUM's website they state that they exist as the intersect of fashion and function. STRUM began in late 2008 as a partnership with the Massimo Osti archive, and today remains a fully independent brand. The original founders of the brand were Donrad Duncan and Massimo Osti's own son Lorenzo Osti from the MO Studios. Massimo Osti's son actually still manages the Massimo Osti archive in Italy. Designs are released as the product of an extensive research and development process, one that addresses how the wearer engages with and is protected by the actual garment. Much of STRUM's inspiration and guidance and research is taken from the original Massimo Osti archive. While each collection boasts a variety of influences, STRUM does draw most significantly from the worlds of sportswear, performance, clothing and military design. Now under the stewardship of a new owner, CEO John Sharp, the brand is now headquartered in Essex in England, where they continue the development and growth of their brand. To be honest with you, their price points are fairly decent. I do feel like STRUM is kind of really underrepresented in the market. The fact that the son is associated with the brand, or was associated with the brand, or they draw a lot of their inspiration from the Massimo Osti archive, and their history is all about research, technicality, function, very much like Stone Island, a true lower price alternative to the brand Stone Island itself. Right, next one. Right guys, so this is it. This is the Arc Air jacket, which I think is actually really, really nice. It fits really well. If you don't know about Arc Air, their history is very interesting, so I'm going to go into that in just a second. That is their arm badge there with the Arc Air emblem logo. So as you can see from the jacket itself, it's very military inspired. And I actually really like it. Let me give you a little bit of information about Arc Air and why I basically think it's a good alternative to Stone Island. So Arc Air is the civilian wing of Arctis. Now Arctis is an English company who've been making serious gear for military outfits since 1985. Arctis developed a reputation for designing and engineering some of the best outerwear garments and tactical gear on the market, tried and tested in the most extreme conditions imaginable. Arctis iconic jackets and tactical vests are used and respected by special forces, military units and emergency services all over the world, okay? The Arc Air brand is the natural offshoot from the Arctis technical clothing range. Arc Air encompasses all of the heritage and authentic details of Arctis and combines this with the latest developments in fabric and printing techniques. Proudly designed and engineered in the UK. It's got a lot of heritage, it's got a lot of history, it's got a lot of understanding, especially kind of military, tactical wear, and I think the Arc Air brand is going to really encompass that. There's 3 different printing layers that I can see on the outer. The hood is really nice. The kind of spring or early autumn, I think this would be quite good, and I definitely think it's going to be a good alternative, or at least a good cheaper alternative to Stone Island, okay? Arc Air. Right, let's move on to the next one. Right, so this is the next one. This is the Paul & Shah hoodie, and another brand which I think could be a good alternative to Stone Island, but lots of my followers, and I mean lots, tell me how they love the quality of Paul & Shah. So I thought it was important that we do get this in, because I do feel like it could be a good alternative to Stone Island. So interestingly enough, Paul & Shah was founded in 1975 by the Dini family. Paul & Shah is today synonymous with Italian elegance and style. In the 1950s, the Dini family reopened a knitting mill in Varese, Italy. Originally opened in the 1920s, the mill had produced high-quality knitwear and garment. Many respected names in the emerging French and Italian luxury ready-to-wear industry have already turned to the Dini family to produce their collection. So that's saying quite a lot, that this family who founded the brand in 1975, before that, opened up a mill which was already popular in the 1920s, but they took it over in the 1950s, and they've kind of turned the mill around because the mill had closed, and they're out there producing luxury garments straight from Italy. So I think that's really good, and it says a lot for a brand that continues to stay producing luxury wear within their very own country. I also think that's something that is very important for brands. From start to finish, Paul & Shark claim that every element and piece of garment is made within Italy, with much of the work still carried out at Dharma Spa, the family mill that was originally opened back in 1950. I mean, what more can I say? That sounds like a pretty impressive history. The fact that they're still making garments in Italy. You know, a lot of brands they can't really state, they can't add that to their list of great benefits for their brand, because lots of brands now go to Asia to get their manufacturing done, because we all know obviously over there it's a lot cheaper. But yeah, this is basically Paul & Shark, super cool brand. I think it looks pretty good. The quality of this does feel nice, don't get me wrong. I just feel like the design is just a little bit plain and a little bit too simple for me personally. Yeah, okay, let's move on to the next one. Right, this is it, man. I'm loving this one. This is Maharishi. Maharishi, for me, there's a lot of kind of like sentiment there, because when I used to work in Selfridges back in the day, I used to actually cover the Maharishi section. Selfridges did not typically buy Maharishi and put it in their store. Maharishi came there and set up, and that's how Selfridges work. Some of the brands are own bought, meaning it's part of the Selfridges stock, and then some of the brands are just paying rent in Selfridges space to go and sell their products, okay? So back in the day, Maharishi was a very popular concessions. The bottoms were super expensive. They were like between 250 to 500 pounds. Back then, lots of people used to come in buying Maharishi. I've always loved the brand. I just always thought they were really cool, a little bit different. They kind of came with this Japanese type of inspired, Far East type of inspired designs with lots of cool embroidery, and I just think they're really cool. So Maharishi was founded in 1994 by Hardy Bleckman. Now remember Hardy Bleckman, we've mentioned him before when we were talking about the martial artist brand. Founder of martial artist Paul used to work alongside Hardy Bleckman at his brand Maharishi. So it's good to see there's them tie-ups there. The collections have always included the strong natural fiber hemp, as well as organic cottons and upcycled military clothing. Maharishi made a comeback on the catwalk. The autumn-winter 2015 collection featured all of the trademarks that fans will remember: combat trousers, camo print, hoods, and crossbody bags. These clothes were inspired by the Japanese ninja costumes as a way to look stealth. In a world of escalated government surveillance, Maharishi was always a label that combined the influence of Eastern culture with the grit of the city streets. Blakeman, who named the brand Maharishi, which was named after the Hindu word for guru, in 1994, spent time working in the army surplus trade. He became a cult name in the streetwear scene in London, and a man known for a mystical outlook influenced by Eastern culture. Bleckman was named Streetwear Designer of the Year and at the British Fashion Awards in 2000. So yeah, you know, Maharishi, lots of really cool history there, lots of inspiration from the kind of military inspired Far East. You know, they're into recycling, upcycling in the environment. It's just a really different, very cool brand, water resistant, especially in the world of like upmarket of upcycling and recycling, where you basically recycle garments, kind of use those materials to make more clothing, so that you're not kind of wasting materials and using existing materials. Yeah, I think it's definitely one for the books, guys. Definitely. All right, let's move on to the next one. Right, moving on to the last one is the Bellstaff. Bellstaff, I've always been a big fan of Bellstaff. I've always thought they were a very, very cool brand and quite understated. I used to wear a lot of Bellstaff, always been one for the quality, and because it's a bit more understated, it's not so hyped like how Stone Island might appear to be, and it's just a little bit more classical, and I just think older guys might really more appreciate Bellstaff. And although it is a cheaper alternative to Stone Island, don't get me wrong, you can still get some jackets going to the £1,000 mark. So it's still quite an expensive brand. But in terms of like knits and sweats and stuff, I tend to find it's more cheaper than Stone Island. And I tend to find the quality is just as equally good as Stone Island, in my opinion. If you want to see where I've purchased these items as well, I'm going to leave some links in the description box below. You can head down there and you will be able to find every single one of these items, guys, okay? So make sure to check that out if you want to find out more. It's quite a masculine brand, so you got the Bellstaff, you got the Bellstaff on the arm there, which is all good, and the quality feels super nice. So Bellstaff has been around for a very long time. It was actually founded in 1924 by Eli Belovich and his son-in-law Harry Grosberg in Longton, Stoke-on-Trent, good old Staffordshire, England. Now the brand was sold in 2004 to Franco Malanotti of sponsor SA Italy. Around that time, Kate Moss was reportedly paid £1 million to appear in Bellstaff ads. Now, interesting bit of information on Bellstaff. In 2006, a determined bidder paid more than $32,000 at an auction for an old wax cotton motorcycle jacket once owned by the late actor Steve McQueen. By the time of the McQueen auction, Belstaff had come to epitomise a certain sort of sporty British elegance and was well on its way to be a bona fide luxury brand. So literally that is it. That is all the brands that I think are good alternative, cheaper brands for Stone Island. If you do think you know some brands that are pretty cool alternative, put them in the comments box below, guys, so you can share it with the rest of the followers and viewers, okay? Make sure to follow us on Twitter, where we're doing our daily deals, Facebook, where you can buy, sell and connect with other members in the community. We've just touched 6,000 members on there, so that's absolutely insane. We're getting all these mad changes on our website real soon as well, so make sure to stay tuned for that. You'll be able to find out about music, clothing, latest drops. We've got a whole team on there working on the site, so every day there's going to be updates. The website is going to transform, so make sure you check out the website. And yeah, I'll be seeing you guys soon. Lots more videos coming. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Peace out.